Okay, hello everyone. Now in this particular session, we'll discuss about a very important concept that is concurrency. Now till now we have discussed about transactions. We also discussed about importance, read, write, and everything. We have discussed about where we store and the places details about that. Now again, why do we need concurrency? First of all, what is concurrency for us? So concurrency means that we are executing multiple transactions simultaneously. They are not executing one by one. One starts after a point of time, other starts after a point of time, third starts. That means once the it may be possible that there is only one processor that is there. Now, if there is one processor that is there, still we may say that the processor will swap the transactions and transactions. There will be a context switch. One transaction stops and other starts acting. Now, why do we need concurrency? Because the data time is one, the processor is one. What on earth are are we bothered because of which we require concurrency? It may be possible that there are hundred transactions. One by one, anyways, they are executing. Anyways, the processor is one. Anyways, the database is one. Why do we need concurrency? Just pause this video now and answer yourself. Why do we need concurrency? If your answer is you have come back now. If your answer is it increases performance, then my question is how? If your answer is that it helps us to improve the customer's some parameter that the customer will feel better, then again my question is how. So understand that here I am saying that there is no one processor. How do you increase the performance? There is only one database. How do you increase the performance? How do you increase the customer's objective? How does the customer feel better if you are running multiple things? If you feel that if I start running transaction one, sending money to another, and somebody else starts running, sends money to other, understand that ultimately here we are talking about only a single processor. The money will still take the same time to be transferred from one bank account to other. Still, the final answer might be relatively almost on average be the same in the scenario that we know. How do you say that performance would be increased? This is my question. Why do we need concurrency at all? If we are not bothered about concurrency, then many of the things are still okay because we know that if the transaction is working one by one, only one transaction is working, all the asset properties are anyways followed if you are maintaining that we roll back in case of failure. Now, how? Why? Why on earth are we bothered about concurrency? So understand that we also discussed in the previous sessions or just before that yes, there are two different units which are working. It's not only the processor, but there is a memory management that is also happening, isn't it? We read something, we write something, and reading and writing can be done by a separate entity. And in the processor, there is no the processor can work. It may be possible that by the time when we are reading, some other transaction can execute on the processor, isn't it? Quite likely. By the time we are writing, some other transactions can do the execution on the processor. So because of which we can say that the performance increases because we are utilizing the resources a bit better. So why do we need concurrency? Yes, because we utilize the resources a bit better and the first time when the user gets a response is always faster. Understand that there are already 100 transactions working and now I am the 101st transaction. At that point of time, suppose I am trying to send some money to somebody else. Now at that point of time, beforehand, if there are one by one, I may not be able to get to see what my account is, get to know what my balance is, and then follow the other step of it. Suppose the transaction includes checking the balance as well. Now, if I don't get it, I have to wait for 500 seconds, then I will get the response, considering the fact that first 100 transactions, if they are there, they take 100 seconds. On the contrary, if there are multiple transactions working simultaneously, the response I will get for the first time may not be 500 seconds, maybe just quarter of a second as well. Now, after that, still it may take, if we don't have the resource utilization, still it's okay that we will take the same time. So, response time for the user is reduced. At the same time, we have better improved performance as well because we're utilizing the resources a bit better. So we need concurrency because when I am transferring some money to you, somebody else can transfer money to somebody else at the same time because resources are utilized better. And if there are many people executing, the response at the first time when the user sees the response from the application is better. That is why we need concurrency. If you have understood that aspect for it, we will look at something. If multiple transactions are working simultaneously, we call it as a schedule. Schedule is nothing but it's a representation of multiple set of instructions in a chronological time-based manner. So here you can see that there is a transaction 1, there is a transaction 2. At point of time, the transaction 1 executes, all the instruction executes before the first instruction in transaction 2 works. But given the fact that it may be possible that they are executing in a manner where we are allowing concurrency, we are not utilizing the power of concurrency here, but because multiple transactions are there in a pack together on the same processor they are working, we call it as the schedule. So here it is a schedule for us. So if you understood what is a schedule, why do we need multiple transactions to execute, and why do we need concurrency, you are ready to ensure that how do we ensure concurrency. You are ready to get to that particular level. Thank you very much.